that day at KICC,
Yeah.
when the big boys took a photo and said like, okay, now things are good. We are forming a broad-based government.
Yeah.
And you could see the disdain in Gachagwa's face. When Uhuru Kenyatta was displeased with his then deputy president,
Yeah.
he never made an attempt to impeach him. You know, I have seen a deliberate effort on Ruto to profile Kindiki. Gachagua has not been involved in matters of governance, right? Largely.
Yes.
Then who does the buck stop with? It stops with the president.
Hello guys, welcome back. It's been a minute. It's been really long. It's over a month since we had the last sitting.
I think it was the last one tulikuwa tunaenda nane nane.
Yeah, then tukafika huko tumepangiwa vizuri sisi.
Tulipangwa.
But since nane nane a lot has happened.
A lot has happened.
People have risen, others wameshuka kidogo. We have Kebaso trending currently with the Inject party already launched.
Yes.
Adani group is kind of being neutralized. No one is talking about it.
No. We have not forgotten about Adani.
But right now
we've not forgotten about Adani. It's just that these members of parliament are trying to distract us, but it's not going to distract us from the problems that we have in this country. So Adani has not been resolved. Shift/Sha has not been resolved. HELB, the issue of bans, the funding model has not been resolved. And the Russia kids has not been resolved. What else?
The nuts and the oils bill. How far?
The nuts and oil crops development bill. Actually, all the agriculture bills. All of the because from the last time we spoke, now Sabina Chege has added a new one, the horticulture.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So we'll have moments to discuss all of those pending matters, pending bills.
I saw another one the other day of gender equality also has been tabled.
Kuna maandamano.
Yeah.
Kuna rambe. Kuna, this parliament, like, basically they want to kill us, enslave us.
We're living in a neo-colonialism era.
Yes.
So with all that much that is happening in Kenya, in a fraction of, I can say, the second part of 2024, the first part was kind of good, but kuanzia June kushuka.
The first part was horrible. We've been living in terror for 2 years. And it's just getting worse. Like
events are just unfolding each and every day. But let's talk about what is hitting right now.
Yes.
What everyone is talking about.
Yes.
Something that is placing us kind of, I can say it's destroying our image kidogo in the world, whereby how even the world is viewing our political class leaders. Wanashangaa watu wani viongozi gani wako nao. Because in Kenya we have a lot of issues that we can talk about. But we are talking about issues that to me, kidogo, yes, they are affecting us, but they are overspending too much on those issues. This is the impeachment of Riggy Gachagua, whom was warned with Uhuru, but he ignored the warning. Sasa anajikaranga na mafuta yake. So we want to talk about should we impeach Gachagua or should we impeach both? My name is Mwavali Derrick.
Sofia Rajab.
And welcome to today's conversation.
Yes.
Now, it's only around 2 years or so since the election of this government. Let's begin with the interview the vice president had on Citizen TV. He said that before a bill is tabled in parliament from Kenya Kwanza, they had a pact that the president should approve that bill. Already his impeachment motion is in parliament. It means the president approved it. Now, the president faced this when he was the vice president. There is this MCA who says, back then you said Uhuru is a mlevi, is a drunkard, but he never attacked the holy guy. Why are the holy people fighting amongst themselves? Let's begin from here. What might be the problem between the president and his vice?
I mean, you know, I started to see a little bit of a crack.
Yeah.
the day the political class hijacked the Gen Z movement and the protests, that day at KICC,
Yeah.
when the big boys took a photo and said like, okay, now things are good. We are forming a broad-based government.
Yeah.
And you could see the disdain in Gachagwa's face, if you ask me.
Because he said
he was a bit uneasy.
Yeah, he said he's laying traps in State
He
House.
was a little bit uneasy. And in fact, there was a time Hassan Joho was trying to make small talk with him.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like
Not
being a little,
in for
yeah,
it,
he was a bit dismissive, like, okay, this is awkward,
yeah.
as he was getting into his car. So that was the first time that I felt that he could see that his position was being threatened, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that even that decision for the broad-based government he was involved with, you know, in making. I think that was definitely a Ruto thing.
Yeah, because when you listen to his interview with Sam,
Yeah.
he says that he's not in the president's diary,
Yeah.
which is the WhatsApp group, meaning there are information about events the president is carrying that he himself is not aware of, which brings about him missing some national events. Something, because yesterday we did the first public participation. I went to cover the program, and when you read the document, there is a place the thing the vice president is missing out on national events, but yet is not in the president's diary.
I mean, let me take you back a little bit, right? You see, even when Uhuru Kenyatta was displeased with his then deputy president, he never made an attempt to impeach him.
Very true.
And I am sure with the intelligence briefings that he has every morning, that with all the information gathered about the person that you work with very closely, that there are several impeachable offenses, perhaps, that could have been brought to light. But Uhuru Kenyatta didn't do that. Now, you see, 2 years into this regime, we've seen a trend of dictatorship, a trend of tyranny, in a way that we've never seen before. We thought that there was tyranny of numbers in the last regime. Hii sasa ndo tunaona tyranny of numbers. And the fact that the opposition, the strongest opposition, moved over to the other side, meant that Ruto is unopposed.
He's having
largely unopposed.
Numbers,
He has even larger numbers. And I think that's what has emboldened him, right? That's what has emboldened him to take such a bold step, because he knows that if there's any opposition, it's going to be a lot of opposition. Na watu wa Murima, ataweka mtu mwingine wa Murima hapo, ndo munyamaze.
Because I have heard rumors. I don't know if, but behind every rumor there is some truth. There are rumors that, to me, I don't know if she's the right person to be given the seat.
I don't think so.
But there are rumors that, because I read somewhere that even Mama Ida Odinga was there when they say they want to give it to the governor of, is it Anoiguru?
Yes.
Kirinyaga. The governor, they want to give Anoiguru the position of the vice president. The argument is they are empowering women.
Yo, you got jokes. You got jokes. That's your theory. I mean, I saw that rumor, but I have a different theory.
Okay.
And time will tell who between us is right. You know, I have seen a deliberate effort on Ruto to profile Kindiki. Right? And if you noticed, there are many of these two engagements kwa ground. Mara sijui elders wa wapi, mara sijui watu wa wapi, wanakuja kumwendorse Kindiki as the new kingpin. Remember, there was that conversation about who the kingpin of the mountain is. And I think what Ruto was trying to do is to position another person that, you know, he can use to further his own political agenda. You see, Kindiki has been very useful to him also to push Ruto's international agenda. For example, the invasion, the illegal occupation of Haiti. Right? It is Kindiki who had helped him to navigate that. The sending of KDF right?
Yeah.
The killing of protesters, the lack of accountability for police, the abductions, the killings, you know, you need some. Kindiki has, in fact, I mean, if there's anybody who's being impeached, who should be impeached, it should be Ruto as the head of state. Because if what they're saying is true, that Gachagua has not been involved in matters of governance, right? Largely.
Yes.
Then who does the buck stop with? It stops with the president. Right?
Yeah.
So we have so many violations of the constitution. We have daily violations of the constitution, enforced disappearances, murder, cold blood murder, right?
Yeah.
Not bringing people to court within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Kidnappings. Like these things have not ended, right?
Yes.
Our right to food, surely. Our right to health. There are people right now who are suffering. Especially people who are, people who have chronic kidney disease are not able to pay. They're being, in fact, I saw a letter today in a Wasingishu. They said, yeah, this thing has not transitioned, and so you have to come with cash. There was an old man yesterday, 76 years old.
I saw him.
You know, you know. So this man has been an affront to the constitution, to the rule of law, to international law. So if there's anybody who should be impeached for gross violation of the constitution, it should be the president. So for me, Kindiki, for him, works better to further his own political goals and ambitions, right? And to avoid accountability. And so for him, he looks at the Mrima as, I need these votes, but I don't need them from Gachagua.
Yeah.
I can get them from another person. And then the other thing is that I think he also wants to divide the votes.
Yeah.
Right? Because the Mrima is a strong voter base. And if he can divide the voter base, then there's a chance he can get a 40%, a 30%. I'm sure in his calculation. That now, as he has now gotten the other percentage from Nyanza region and Luya land, right? That he will be able to make up the difference. He wants loyalists because he wants to rule and rule for a very long time.
There are allegations on the impeachment motion that the vice president has been the deputy president has been so tribalistic in his speech, only speaking about the mountain, fighting for people from the mountain. But an issue is arising, and this someone also raised it yesterday while we were in the public participation, that we are complaining that because it's the second point that the vice president the deputy president rather, he is so tribalistic. Then someone questioned, a citizen questioned, that since 1963 on attainment of independence in Kenya, the politics of this nation has been defined by tribes. We elect leaders based on alliances that have been formed in the tribal lines. Isn't this the same thing that let me fight for the people who took me in?
Oh yeah, you know, the statement that Gachagua made, because they're trying to pinpoint the shareholder
based government.
Yes, in shareholders. I mean, that really pissed me off. I'm just like, what do you mean shareholders? You know what I'm talking about? But I don't want us to conflate fighting for your people as being tribal. Right?
Yeah.
Because even me, the Mijikendas have been marginalized for decades, right?
Yeah.
And so if I'm out here fighting for the welfare and well-being, the economic upliftment and empowerment of the Mijikenda, then am I tribal? No. So there's that. But let's see this, the list of appointments.
Okay.
Head of Civil Service, Felix Kosgei. Yoni kabla gani? Kenyan CEO, Abraham Serim.
Kalenjin.
Kenya Power CEO, Joseph Siror.
Kalenjin.
Kenya Pipeline CEO, Joe Sang.
Kalenjin.
Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Agency CEO, Daniel Kipto.
Kalenjin.
Kenya Nuclear Regulatory Authority Director General, James Keter.
Kalenjin.
Kentraco Company Secretary, Kemri, KCC. As in, the list goes on to the CRC chair, to Kenya Water Towers Agency, to Kenya Post Office Savings Bank. I mean, seriously? Like, seriously, all these appointments. So who is tribal?
The president
Who is tribal? I mean, this is actually quite hilarious. Because if we were to apply the same accusations to the president, there will be those accusations
will
and
be there
more.
And more.
And more. And that's why we're just like, if that is, those things are impeachable, or pia wewe lazima uende, you must also go. Because you have done the same and worse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So of course we're not excusing tribalism. Of course we're not excusing kutenga wa Kenya wengine.
Yeah.
But let's be serious here. Let's be serious here. With all the things that have happened in our country. And this sham of a public participation process. Sababu tayari walikuwa wameshaamua, right? The speaker got this thing on Friday. This thing was tabled on Tuesday. They are able to get all those signatures. Kumbe signatures were being collected from before. Ili ilikuwa ni njama ishapangwa. Alafu saizi, because of other impeachments that have been challenged in court, and the court has said there has to be public participation. So now they're telling us, okay, sawa, let's do public participation. But what do you mean? That public participation has to be meaningful. Because lazima uzunguke kila mahali uulize watu. Manake si hao walimchagua Gachagua. Si Gachagua alichaguliwa kwa debe na watu wangapi? Because it was a joint ticket. It was the presidency. It was the presidency. So you can't have less than how many people in parliament making a decision for how many millions of people based on a few days of quote unquote public participation. So that in and of itself is flawed. The other thing is, somebody pointed today, and I said, I didn't think of that. Because, the thing is, we have trust issues and we're entitled to because of how these people move. Here's the karatasi to remember tujaze. There are no security features. How do we know they're even going to get to parliament? Ama watajijazia hao wenyewe. Alafu wazilete bunge. Waseme, watu walisema, yes, impeach Gachagua. Meanwhile, what we are saying is impeach both. That's what we're saying. Impeach both. Kufa Dereva, Kufa
conductor. The same issue on a tribal lines. The current president himself, he has been silent on this issue.
Let me tell you, this guy is a puppet master. I mean, every day we hear orders from above. You know how these MPs are behaving? The way they are behaving for finance bill. Kiburi. Manake walikuwa wameitwa State House, summoned to State House. Whether they were given that 2 million shillings or not given that 2 million shillings, either way, they were given instructions, express instructions, which is the same thing happening here. Wasitudanganye hapa. Manake if they were genuine with public participation, wangekuja kwanza kwa ground kabla hawajaweka msahihi. Because even our own women rep amesha sign. Hasa amesign alafu anakuja kwetu kutuuliza maoni yenu ni gani. That is completely insincere because you've already taken a partisan position. So now you are the investigator, you are the judge. Right? In a process that is only one-sided at this point. Because what are you asking us to give an opinion on? Right? Because this is allegations. These are allegations that have been made. Are they true? Are they, apart from the things that we've had with our own ears, shareholding? Where are the allegations that have been put there? Whether it is unjust enrichment, whether it is that, this and that and the other. How do we know that what they are alleging is actually true without giving Gachagua? Because rules of natural justice must apply. Rules of natural justice must apply. He must be given the right to respond. And I think it would be more prudent to hear that response before we are told to make a decision as Kenyans. That's why I'm saying this thing is so nefarious. It's so insincere because it seems to us that this is already a foregone conclusion. So you're wasting our taxes to come to us to pretend that you're listening to what we gotta say.
When the decision is...
When the truth is you guys have already decided.
You're just waiting to announce.
Yes, because even when it came on Tuesday, see what walikuwa nasema, yes. What was the debate? And what are you debating on? If you only have one side of the thing. And the court should have stopped.
Riggy filed a petition yesterday.
He filed a petition, and then Ahmed Nasser leaked the petition details, the court number. I'm just like, come on, senior counsel, you can do better than that. You already showed us how biased you are. You don't need to continue. This is a matter of serious national importance. And precedent setting, because this is the first time we're doing this.
Yeah.
So what is the threshold, right?
Yeah.
What is the threshold of impeaching a deputy president that has been voted for by millions of Kenyans? You cannot tell me that this is the process, and that this is sufficient enough to subvert the will of the people that voted him in. You cannot tell me that these number of members of parliament wako wangapi? 349. Kwanza minus our Magarini MP who's not been replaced.
Yeah.
In fact, on that basis alone, I would challenge this process, because those people do not have representation in parliament right now. Hakuna IEBC, and that is not by default, it's by design. So you cannot tell me that this process will subvert an election where Gachagua, and I'm not for Gachagua, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm his biggest fan. But this is a process issue.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
This is a process issue. And so, on all accounts, manake watu wa Kazandani mmeenda huko mkasikia maoni yao. In fact, I really want to finish this, we go there, because I want to hear if this Mbeyu is explaining to people the actual motion, not that summary, no, the one that they even have pictures of his hotels. He or document their grounds and why they believe he should be impeached. Why she voted for that impeachment, right?
Yeah.
But for me, this is all orchestrated. This is Ruto 100%. The MPs, either they've been coerced or incentivized otherwise, but this is insincere, and this is an abuse of the process, but also an affront to the constitution based on the personality and likes of one person, one greedy person. Because if these MPs were sincere in holding the executive accountable, then Ruto would not be in office today, given all that he has done, given his own admissions. I mean, if you're mad about shareholding, when Ruto came to us after we are mourning about the death of Rex and others, right?
Yes. When
he was being asked about the 12-year-old who was shot from behind, multiple shots, what did he say?
There was no shooting.
But he's alive, isn't he? How offensive. This guy is a liar. He is like a chronic liar. He is a liar. If you guys failed to impeach Linturi, who had 100% responsibility for giving people fake fertilizer that caused so much loss and so much damage, you want to tell me that you're going to impeach Gachagua when it's so political? And then you're coming to us to sanitize, right? To sanitize your process using our taxes. Kwendeni nyinyi nyoto. Kwanza dissolve parliament.
There is a question on the issue of funding these public participation. We have the Adani deal that has been in parliament. It has not been brought to the public, yet JKIA is a national consumerant for Kenyans. What do you say about this?
It's a sham. All of and that's why I have no faith in parliament itself. Impeach both, dissolve parliament. Because those people are unable or unwilling to play their role, to oversight the executive, to represent the people. They have failed in their mandate. Their legislative mandate, they are failing every day, introducing stupid bills, that are not for the public good. Parliament has failed. Unasikia state capture. Hii ndio state capture, right? We are at a standstill because we have a circumstance where we have a parliament that is unwilling to do its job. Such a critical asset. And remember, before Nelson Amenya, when Nelson Amenya was whistleblowing for the first time, Amkeni, airport naibiwa, siwalikana. Siwalikana. They're like, nothing like that, nothing like that, nothing like that. Liars. Meanwhile, there were conversations and deals and approvals that were being done. And then they dare tell us that it's not being sold. There is no trust in this government. This government is full of liars, thieves, looters, murderers. and they have no business in being in office. And the nerve of Samson Cherargei to introduce a constitutional amendment bill to extend their limits to 7 years. We are not going to suffer for 7 more years. Dissolve parliament now. Ninyi nyote ni wakora, is what I'm saying. And I think Kenyans, we are on the same page. The only people who are not on the same page with us is this political class. And that's why we must get rid of them. Liwe liwalo. If it's in the streets, if it's on the ballot, they must go.
The impeachment motion is in parliament. It is kind of one-sided already, whereby there are people who sat down, designed everything, and they are giving it a way that it should follow. Constitutionally, what were the legal steps that these people should follow till the impeachment of the vice president?
They're taking the steps. So the motion is introduced, the speaker considers it, and then puts it on the timetable, as it were, right? So the process has been followed. This is where we're at in terms of public participation. Now wakikuja, they're going to, wakirudi, wata decide whether it's going to be an 11-member committee or the committee of the whole house to decide. Remember, the first stage only requires a third of the MPs to vote yes, to move on with the impeachment. But now there are over 200 who've already voted yes. And right now, if you look at the political situation, they're definitely going to vote yes. He's not going to get out of this, right? So National Assembly will now pass it on to Senate. I don't think it's going to go to Senate, because if he's impeached at the National Assembly, the best thing for him to do to save his political career is to resign. Because if he's impeached, he's not going to be able to run for public office. Just like Mike Sonko, just like Baba Yao. And you know, you play those political gambles. Like, do I get impeached or do I resign and save myself? Because his fate has already been sealed. His fate has already been sealed. So for me, I am seeing him defend himself first. And maybe if we're lucky as Kenyans, we're going to get a little juice in there. May want him to drag Ruto down with him. When he's defending himself, anguka nayo. Anguka nayo, by the way. Yeah. And so by the end of this, so that I think Ruto with his arrogance has made a political miscalculation. And this thing might really backfire. Because if you look at what is happening across the country today, from Kilifi to Migori to Nakuru to Bomas of Kenya, kuna chaos. People are saying what they need to say. Bomas kumeja, watu wanakuwa interviewed nje ya Bomas. And everybody is saying the same thing. We're tired of this nonsense. There are other more important issues we need to discuss. You know? So this thing has given people a voice, because whereas there are very few platforms for wananchi to be had by other wananchi in a national conversation, I'm glad that we're having this national conversation. And guess what? We're speaking in the same language as Kenyans, regardless of tribe, regardless of religion, regardless of region. We are speaking the same language, that we are absolutely tired with this political class, and they need to go.
There are calls
shape up or ship out. Hatuna mchezo saizi, because literal lives are on the line. What is more important to you as a leader? Even if we can't even call them leaders, mimi siwezi kuita waheshimiwa, sababu hawaheshimiki. Hawana heshima kwa wananchi.
We have calls for the impeachment of the president also, something that you are also advocating for.
Yes.
Which might not happen because you know the game being played. But what does that? How does that place the president in future political accountability issues in this nation?
Let me tell you, what we need to remind these MPs is that they answer to us. They answer to us. So if we all do our work in all the places we live across this country and make it hostile, you see how the MPs that voted for Gachagua wakarudi kwao, ground ilikuwa hostile, sasa wamebadilika. That is how we need to be for all of these people. Kuwe hakukaliki, that they have no choice but to change their mind. Because we cannot live like this. 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 The CJ kwanza anafaa dissolve parliament immediately. When the water, right?
Yeah.
We cannot wait. We cannot wait when our resources are being plundered. You know, when corruption is at the highest, Kenyans are dying. Alafu wako tu sawa. Listen, this is a time for civil disobedience. I saw people calling for civil disobedience.
Yeah.
We just down our tools. Tuseme hatulipi tax. Mtadu. Where will you steal from if we don't pay?
No way.
Will the police KRA come for 50 million Kenyans? Come on now. Enough is enough. Yeah?
Yeah.
Tusipeleke watoto CBC, sababu hii CBC is fake news. Right?
Yeah.
Until they listen to us. Until they prioritize the needs of wananchi. Until they stop these blatant attempts to criminalize farming because they want to enrich a few. I want people to understand that we are in a crisis. We are in a crisis. We are in a constitutional crisis. We are the country is fighting for its soul. And we cannot allow turudi kwa hiyo nini ya kusalimiana. And I think that's why Malim was saying in parliament that they need security. You see, it's heavy security presence, right?
Yeah, sure.
Because people are mad and they know people are mad. So if you know are mad, why are you still doing this? Right?
Yes.
Huyo Faras Malim ambaye appear before the National Cohesion Integration Commission to respond to that comment he made that if I was the president, I would have killed 5,000 Gen Z a day. Yeah. Why you guys can talk like that and still be in office? You guys can talk like that and still be in office. Those are murderous statements. That is hate speech. So if you have a problem with Gachagua, with stakeholders, then why is Farah Malim still there? Why is Farah Malim? What moral authority does he have to tell this guy that he is impeding the constitution with the remarks that he's made? All of these people are nonsensical fools.
We have had
and they do not deserve to be there. And we need them out. Like yesterday, we need them out.
We have had so many political scandals, from the impeachment of Akina Mike Sonko in the previous regimes, Akina Ferdinand Waititu, to the coming of impeachment of Awira Mwangaza. Also, just I think the other day, we had the impeachment of another governor. Now, what does this suggest about the country's approach to political accountability in relation to the approach being taken to the impeachment of the deputy president?
Impeachment remains very political. It really is. It's a political punishment tool. If we don't like you, if we've decided it's you we don't like. Yeah. From MCAs now, you see. Yeah. And even the solutions to the to impeachment have been political. Yeah. Like Waiguru. Because if you think about the things that she was accused of, right?
Yes.
Would she still be in office?
No.
The solution, even Awira Mwangaza, wasn't it not Gachagua who was part of the mediation team? And if Awira is now like, oh, please leave Gachagua alone. This thing is all political. And this was not what it was meant to be. This was not the intent of the framers of the Constitution. It was not. If at all there was sincerity with some of the accusations, even with Gachagua, about integrity, leadership and integrity and corruption. Where is the EACC?
No. They're just citing that he has...
Where are the charges? When I charge to Morara with some useless computer and cyber... computer misuse and cyber crimes act. These flimsy charges. Seriously. So this is just a political tool of hate and revenge.
You backstab me, I pin you down.
If we don't like you,
we just take you home.
We just take you home.
The political uncertainty in this nation obviously affects the economic side of this. What is the future of Mama Mboga in this now?
Mama Mboga, excuse my language, is screwed. Mama Mboga kwanza alidanganya Mama Mboga huyu Ruto. Yani Mama Mboga is screwed. This guy wants us to die of hunger. Not only kill jobs and livelihoods.
Yeah.
He wants us to die of hunger. Right?
Yeah.
These bills are creating so many hurdles. So many hurdles. Right?
Yeah.
That it is going to be impossible to farm. And when I say impossible to farm, we're not talking about large-scale farming. We're talking about small-scale holders. Right?
Yeah.
Hata kwa shamba yako wewe mwenyewe. Si hapa niko na little kitchen garden. Siwezi kulima hapo. Right?
Yeah.
Because of these bills. It is so punitive. And all of this is Bill Gates. All of this is Syngenta. So when you see Ruto walking around in New York, him is there for his deals. Whether it's the nuclear deal, whether it's other deals, him is there for deals. These are not leaders, they're dealers. Because seriously, what is the mischief that they're trying to cure? What is the mischief that they're trying to cure? From the agricultural professionals registration and licensing bill that says you have to have a degree, diploma, or a certificate in agriculture, that you have to be registered, that you have to pay for an annual license in order just to practice farming. Then now if you have minazi, kama mimi niko na minazi, niko na korosho, yeah, I have to be registered again and have a license again for processing under the Nuts and Oil Crops Development Bill. And then if I grow, like me, I have pawpaws, I have bananas, I have lemons, yeah. But now under the horticulture bill, now I also have to get a license.
Everything is stuck.
And then now if I grow ndengu, I also have mangbin, though I'm trying to also have to get a license. Seriously. And then also now they're telling us we have to do NEMA environmental impact assessment. I mean, seriously, these guys are absolutely delusional. And the thing is that you would betray your own people. Like Sabina Chege will betray the Murima. Afadhali Gachagua anafaitia Murima. Ebu jiulize wakulima wangapi wako Murima?
Wengi sana.
The food basket, where is it of this country?
In the mountain.
It's in the mountain.
Yeah.
The food basket of this country is in the mountain. But Sabina is just like, yeah, let me just introduce this horticultural bill. Idiot. I have no respect for these people. They should be fucking ashamed. Let me tell you. Pale hasira zimenifikia. Yani, this is even more than betrayal. This is a death sentence to Kenyans. That you are taking away their food, you're taking away their healthcare, right?
Yeah. Because
of selfish interests. Your NHIF, saizi wabungi wanauliza wanauliza CS, who's so clueless, that Baraza babe.
I was amazed. Actually, you are the whole CS. How do you like?
A whole CS. She has no idea.
No clue.
No clue how this thing is gonna work. But also the MPs that passed this thing. You guys passed this thing. You guys passed this thing. Bamushomba was being asked by some Gituku the other day. But see, you passed it. Pia nyinyi mnatumia akili. How do you pass something? Because now they want to send the blame to somebody else. Right?
Yeah.
They want to shift the blame to that CS. When they are the ones who didn't ask the questions before passing the bill. That's why I'm saying dissolve parliament, because clearly all of you do not know your job, except the ones that we do. Akina Okiomtata, Senator Wakisi,
Linturi. Not Linturi, the guy who speaks against Adani, what's his name?
Yes.
Now, as we near the end of this,
sorry, I guess this is just a ranting session. I just needed to rant.
Tuongele kidogo Adani. Adani and the main gateway to East Africa. Actually, I just realized we are the main gateway to East and Central Africa. Someone wants to control.
Exactly.
And
how dare you? I swear to God. If it was even if the country was fine and Adani is still there, that is such a crazy thing for this man to do. Because he's selling the airport to himself. How dare he? Yani, you want to risk our economic future. You want to risk our security. You want to give away our jobs, right?
Yeah.
For your selfish greed. How much money is enough money? Let me tell you, leo mpaka Adani must go. We are not going to give our airport to foreigners. In fact, even yesterday I was watching another documentary on Adani, right? And seeing all the corruption that Adani has. Let me even read this thing. I was even writing it down because I've been following the Senate proceedings. Accounting fraud, stock manipulation, overvaluation, insider trading, cronyism in that it's only their family members, even people who have been convicted of corruption.
There is an issue to do with the environment and human rights in other countries where Adani is running.
Adani is a corporate criminal entity. And
you could listen to this Mbadi speak of Adani in the Senate, and I'm like, because the Sifuna pinned him, and when this guy is trying to answer the question, is like, he has no clue about Adani also.
No, and then also the ministry and treasury approved in one day, and he said, oh, this is efficiency. Really? Hakuna efficiency kwa this, but kuna efficiency kwa hii, because people were told approve. They cannot, they are liars. They kept on saying that this is a PIP nonsense. When evidence is being tendered, literally received by KIA and others, of other companies that had showed interest in expanding our airport. Why Adani? If it was not single source procurement, there's, you can single source you can singly source for a kettle. Yeah? You can I'm a water bottle. But not a freaking airport. And not for 30 years, not with the concessions that they are proposing. That they're just going to have ownership in perpetuity. Are you mad? And then the same Ruto in Mombasa says, am I a madman? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And we will not allow you to plunder our natural resources. Nyinyi mnataka kuuza KICC. Wameuza baobabs. Yaani hakuna kitu hawezi kuuza. They are selling human beings. Even Alfred Mutua, you hear him say he wants to ship 10,000 people. Right? If he could, he would. Ship. Tokeni huku. Because they don't want to create jobs. They don't know how to govern. They only know how to politic, which is very dangerous for us. And right now what we need as Kenyans is sober leadership. Right? That has the best interests of Kenyans at heart. That is what we want. And that might be naive to say, but that is what we need. That is what we want. That is what we demand. We're not asking now. We're not asking, by the way. We're demanding some sobriety, and for these people to have the courage. And if they cannot stand up to a bully, if they cannot stand up to a terrorist like Ruto, pia waende na yeye, anguka nayo.
There is a friend of mine asked her, actually she is a first year student at Pwani, and she asked that Derrick, I saw she saw the video you did on Nane Nane, and you are a lawyer, an activist, a human rights lawyer. The current regime has introduced identity cards that are expiring.
Wacha hiyo, yani paka nasikia nimechoka, nasikia njaa sahi.
What is the civil society doing about that?
Let me tell you, this guy has made us just litigious. I mean, Kenyans were already litigious, right? and we're litigious not only in our own jurisdiction. Tunaenda EACJ, tunaenda African Commission on Human and People's Rights. Let me tell you, if they're suing, we gon' sue. Okay? We're always those guys. If we are suing, we gon' sue. Okay? But now, every single decision is being challenged. Because under the right to citizenship, Article 12 of the Constitution, mulitoa wapi mambo ID for every... When you've stopped being a Kenyan?
And it's 10 years. It has a 10-year validity or something.
And this is nonsensical nonsense. And these are the ways in which they're trying to chip away at all of our rights. Yeah. And I see this as a ploy because they'll just decide we're not printing. See, hatuna printer imeharibika pole, so that you're disenfranchised to vote.
And are you aware the government printer was shifted from where it is used to be? Yeah.
Where is it?
It's in the office of the president.
What?
The government printer was shifted.
How did that pass me by? Seriously, I didn't know that.
I was doing research online during the finance bill, and I just realized the government printer was shifted. Now, a lot is happening in the country.
And we need to go to the public participation.
To scare maoni ya watu. What is your call to Kenyans as we end this?
We need to get these people out.
To get them out.
We need to unite. Vile tuko tumesema, we are tribeless. We are partyless. Yeah? We are leaderless. Our mission is one and one only. We need to restore rule of law in this country. And to do that, Ruto must go. Dissolve parliament now. And
I told you, or I asked you one question a time back when doing the video on Adani, and I asked you, as a citizen, I think we are living in an era whereby you should not just sit and wait for leaders to make decisions for you. The other day, Ngugi was saying you need to be at par with these bills in parliament. You need to question the government because you realize that the Gen Z are worried. Munatupea ID na expire. What if I don't renew the ID?
Yeah.
I won't vote. And I think it's one way of
and access other services.
Yeah, it's another way of controlling us. And we know this is not a Ruto deal. This is not a government deal. You are trying to appease a certain European man seated somewhere enjoying the show. How you guys are beating yourself up. And that's why, just as the lawyer says, that it's time for us to speak. If we fear speaking, we'll speak for you. It's your right to speak. They won't kill all of us. Babu, once said they'll not kill all of you. Even if there is this MP who says he can kill 50,000 people, you will face ICC. But right now we don't need ICC. Kebaso alisema tutafungua shimo la tewa hapa hivi tumweke.
Kwanza aende committee, my friend.
We will prosecute you in this country. So it's time for you to speak. It's time for you to take part in legal proceedings in this country so that a law that is passed is not affecting you as a Kenyan citizen. My name is Mwavali Derrick.
Sofia Rajab.
And it has been an honor and a privilege to converse.
I apologize for cussing. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Until we meet again, see you next week.
Peace.